Okay, hey, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, what is a LiDAR point cloud worth? In this episode, I'm going to introduce you guys to Pete. Now, Pete is a pioneer in digital or geospatial storytelling with years of experience underneath his belt. And as in his own words, he's seen LiDAR technology transform the way we tell stories. And if you stick around to the end, he's going to actually show you, one of these stories, with one of the scenes from Forrest Gump. So stick around the end because I know this is going to be a good one.
Pete, tell us about Easter Island. What is your connection with there, and how did you use LiDAR to tell that particular story?
Oh, wow. The first great project of my career was on Easter Island, and we were tasked with um, doing LiDAR surveys of the famous statue there, the statues there called Moai, which we did, but it was going so well, and my employer was so thrilled with the project that I said, look, let's do the whole island. So we did the statues, we did the entire island. And this was all about a project for helping the local folks there, the Rapa Nui people, make more informed decisions regarding the effects of tourism and all this explosive growth that was happening there a few years ago due to the tourists. So infrastructure and utilities and all that sort of thing. So we did all that, and it was life changing project for me professionally and personally. It was really, really great. Um, but it's also where I've had, I mean, literally an epiphany, and that was the company I was working with was so thrilled with this project and the response we were getting that they asked if my host there on the island, Sonia, and myself would get up and present the project to the entire worldwide sales team, all the partners, everybody. There were 4,000 people in this room. And we did. And here's what happened. It was so great. So I introduced Sonia, I set it up, and she started talking. And she basically said to everyone in the audience with tears in her eyes, thank you for saving my country. And wow, the senior vice president for sales for this global company, huge company, sitting next to me, elbows me in the ribs, and he says, "Wow." And I'm like, "Yeah, that was amazing." And he's like, "Turn around, turn around." So I turn around and I take a quick look at the audience, and I swear 2/3 of them were in tears. So it was this moment where I got it. I use the word epiphany. It's still the best word all these years later because this data set connected emotionally with 4,000 people from all over the world, all different cultures, all different languages. And all of us in that room, were sitting up a little straighter and feeling good and proud and happy with what we'd all done. And that for me was, I know exactly what I want to do with the rest of my career. Exactly. And it's this I got to get back to that, to inspiring people to action using this amazing technology that can evoke that kind of an emotional response.
It's a shame it's not in a periodical somewhere.
Well, the project got a write up, believe it or not, in Fortune magazine. You can Google it. Now, granted, this is back in 2009, which was at the height. You remember the global economic meltdown of 2008, and one of the leading financial magazines says, "No, we're going to run this story because this is great. What a cool story!" So it went that far, and then my gosh, we did a documentary film about it. I mean, it just blew up in all the best ways. And like I say, I've been addicted to it ever since. And once again, the common denominator in everything I've done of any sort of note that's out there in the internet or whatever, the common denominator is reality capture. And even at the center of that, point cloud data, LiDAR data, terrestrial laser scanning data. And all these years later now, what is it, 15 years later now, no slowing down because it's still happening. I'm still watching people react this way to it, um, regardless of what industry they're in, where they come from, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's been, oh, gosh, well, life-changing event, but changed my career as well. And it's all I want to do. And how great is that this late in my life to finally get a North Star to what exactly it is that I'm totally passionate about. So,
So, Pete, I've got to ask this question. What does the Recon XT and the film Forrest Gump have in common?
um,
All will be revealed. Stay with us.
yes, yeah. Well, if you can see this data set here in a LiDAR
Wow.
Oh my
mill,
gosh.
Look at that.
yeah, this
So,
is
where is this? Talk to us about where this is, Pete.
the mid coast of Maine in the United States. This is
Mm-hmm.
Marshall Point Lighthouse,
Wow.
which
Look at
is
that.
in and around the town of St. George. Actually,
Wow.
there's another cool thing about LiDAR mill is if I turn on terrain, you get context of the data set
So it's draping
stuck
it over
onto
top of the.
yep,
Oh, nice.
So
draping it over the
clever.
rest of the planet. So
Gosh.
yeah,
Oh,
so this
that's.
is
Look at
Marshall
that.
Point Lighthouse,
Uh-huh.
and this was part of a survey, a state-funded survey to um, identify at-risk coastal infrastructure, historic archaeological sites, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
of which Marshall Point Lighthouse is one for many reasons, historic site. But to your question, if you remember in the Forrest Gump movie, which is, I still can't believe it, it's almost 30 years old. Forrest goes for his long, long run, right? He
Yeah.
goes for a long, long run and he runs all the way to the west coast, the Pacific Ocean, and I think he goes all the way out on the Santa Monica Pier, and then he turns around and he starts heading east. Well, this is where Forrest Gump East Coast run winds up. It was filmed here at Marshall Point Lighthouse.
Oh wow.
Look at that. How
Yeah.
cool.
What I
So,
like about this is, for a lot of LiDAR users, they're doing this for survey. And
hmm,
what you're really doing is historical preservation, which is a totally,
Mm,
totally different story and a totally, totally different business case. And so, Claire, for the folks that don't normally understand this,
sure.
surveyors, they put points out every 500,000 meters, whatever that's going to be, to kind of get contour. And then LiDAR traditionally has been used to have points much closer, maybe 10 centimeters or 20 centimeters. But to get this historical preservation piece, you have to have extremely dense point density to get these attributes. So Pete, this is amazing data.
yeah, this was a fun one. And gosh, you're making me think sort of here in real time that, if they were to film the movie again or, Forrest Gump Part 2, you could go to the production team and say, you don't have to go to Marshall Point Lighthouse
You've got it
because
right
I
there.
have the data. I have the data.
That's amazing.
So it's just another way that LiDAR data provides value to a customer that maybe most folks wouldn't think of. In this case, a production company where the business case is just that. Why go to all the expense of going on site when we have this super accurate photorealistic data we could use?
I love it. So a fabulous case there of LiDAR literally changing people's lives.
Yeah,
Thank you, Pete, thank you so much for sharing that story with us. That's pretty powerful stuff.
it is. It is. Thank you both.
Hey, as you can see, Pete is a master storyteller. So if you found this good, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. And then we're going to leave a link down below. So if you want to work with Pete and figure out how to do storytelling with your LiDAR data, he'd be happy to do that as well. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next episode.